Steph Beran Sanderson is an optimistic ENFP. I'm an INTP. Sorry about that. With a passion for partnerships and innovation, she connects people and things and ideas. She's very interested in creative problem solving partnerships, audio, which we'll talk about in a minute, integrated marketing collaboration. Currently, she is director of strategy for Wordsworth+Booth, an audio creative agency. Steph, you and I met like a month ago or something like that. How's life going?
Life's going. Summer is finally here, which helps me a lot. Obviously, the last few weeks and few months have been trying, but I'm optimistic. As you said in my bio, and hopeful that good things are to come. How about you?
I'm great. Life in Connecticut is good, but my wife and I and my dog are considering a move. So
Oh,
we may leave the Northeast. We may head further south. Stay tuned for more information. But
interesting.
I figure with my background, I'm pretty much like a digital nomad pirate kind of guy. So I'll be able to stay afloat anywhere. Anyway, enough about me. Um, just curious, I want to pick your professional brain here for a second. What major changes have you observed in the digital marketing landscape that you attribute to the recent corona crisis or even some of the social movement stuff we see going on?
I would say that that's a very big question. Um, it will take historians many moons from now to really nail it. But the thing that I see is just the need for adaptability because everything about advertising is rooted in the audience, rooted in the consumer and in their habits. So this may be a pivot to your question, but habits have changed dramatically in the last 3 months. It only really takes about 6 weeks for new habits to form.
Hmm.
And we're already over 3 months into this not new normal, this new abnormal space.
Hmm.
And so we all have these new habits. And what that meant in audio, for instance, at first, listening dipped because people weren't on their commutes.
Sure.
So what are they doing? But guess what? Listening's rebounded.
Hmm.
Social use was way up because people were at home and what are they doing? But then there's fatigue. So consumer habits have shifted multiple times already. So what I'm saying is that that essentially we keep reacting in these short terms, which is great. If you have the ability to be flexible
Hmm.
and adaptable right now, you're from a marketer's or for marketers, you're going to be a little bit better off. So it's less about what's changed in the media and
Hmm.
more about what's changed with consumers. And I think we're still seeing what's changing almost daily.
Okay. Uh, you're obviously have deep, you're a podcaster, but you have deep expertise in that area. I read a little blog post article wrote some time ago, but a lot of people have a lot of time on their hands these days, and they're toying with the idea of, hey, I know, I'll do a podcast program. Why should or shouldn't a person do a podcast now?
It's such a good question. And number one, it's the most saturated it's ever been. So that might make you think, oh, I'll hold off. But I don't think that at all. I think everyone can do a podcast. But if you're going to do a podcast, the most important thing is to know why you're doing it. What are you trying to say? What are you trying to convey? Or like for me, my podcast that I host with my good friend Pedro L. Rodriguez, we are on a mission to change the way people look at the middle of their careers. And
And what's the name of your program?
so it's called The Middleists, and it's all about being in the middle of your career and not being somebody who has laid out their career 15 years in advance and know exactly where we're going. We're in it for the ride, but we're ambitious and
Hmm.
we're smart and creative, and really want to learn more and maximize our time, we want to be intentional without pigeonholing ourselves.
Sure.
And so for us, it's all about putting these conversations that people in this realm of the middle of your career, which is a very long time, but it's about having those conversations in the open versus hushed in a corner or one-on-one with a book or one-on-one with an executive coach. We talk with fellow middleists, we talk with career coaches, executive coaches. It's been a really fun journey, but for us, our why was a little bit rooted in ourselves and just what we found there to be lacking on our journeys.
That's great.
So I think it's super important to know what you're
Why.
trying.
Right.
Yeah. What's your why? It's like with launching anything,
Right.
any product, any service, any website, whatever you're doing. Why are you doing it?
Sure.
You have to have that, because everything builds from that. I just sound like a textbook marketer. And who are you talking to?
Sure.
Who's going to listen? So I've talked to a lot of brands over the years about podcasts, and most really get it. They're like, we don't want a 30-minute commercial. And I'm like, great, because people don't want a 30-minute commercial.
That gets old. That gets real old real quick. Yeah.
But I also think that if you're going to start a podcast, do your homework, know the industry, know what's out there. So if you're going to start an interview show where you interview women in business who have been successful, there are those shows out there. That doesn't mean that yours won't be new and different, but what's going to make it new and different? Bring that to your thinking before you turn on the mic. So, and it's super easy. I highly recommend it. But before you jump in, remember that it is a lot of work.
Yeah, it is.
It takes a lot of effort. I mean, you're doing so many of these shows, and I think people just think, well, you turn on the camera and great. But you have to do prep.
Yeah, I do, but it's the nature of it constrains it. I have a big network. I have a lot of people who either put up with me or take pity on me. That's very nice of you to say that. I'm running out of time here. I just need to ask you one final question. It's a question I ask everybody. Steph, what lessons have we learned that we must not forget?
So I think the one that I wish we would not forget, but I feel like we keep forgetting, is to learn from our mistakes. It's one that I just keep seeing over and over again, that marketers do it. Humans do this. We sort of are embarrassed by messing up, and so we just run from the mistake. But instead of doing that, really lean in and make a commitment to do better. It's progress, not perfection. And if you're not even trying, then you haven't learned anything. So I think we're seeing that a lot right now with the pandemic. I mean, there was a pandemic a century ago that we have like photos of.
Right.
It's not that old. And even with race relations right now. So with that, I'll say Black Lives Matter.
Exactly. Thanks for taking time out of your busy day to talk to me, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thank you so much.